welcome to Studio 5. We've got a great show to share this week. Recording artist Matthew West joins us to talk about his new devotional. We're also sharing more of our conversation with Grammy Award-winning artist CeCe Winans. We're hitting the red carpet at the K-Love Fan Awards, and we're counting down the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment this week. Here are the first 2. At number 5.
It's time.
What wondrous love is this?
Double good news for fans of the series on the life of Jesus. If you have been wondering when you could finally see the 4th season of The Chosen, we've got some good news for you. The wait is over. The show's creators have now announced that season 4 will be available for streaming exclusively on the Chosen app.
Did not he who made the outside make the inside also?
The Chosen also took home the 2024 Film Impact Prize at the 11th Annual K-Love Fan Awards.
I think if I would not have been forced by God to surrender to him, I don't think I would have been ready for something like this, both the positive and the negative, because I cared what people thought of me. And so it becomes really a superpower when you stop caring what people think and you care more about what God thinks.
The only thing you need is Jesus. Jesus is the Prince of Peace, the only way to true inner peace is Jesus.
At number 4.
I wrote a song. Thought maybe we could ask for an audition.
Oh, that's great, honey. Let's take it one step at a time.
If you missed Unsung Hero in theaters, the incredible true story about music, motherhood, and miracles is now available to watch from the comfort of your own home. Helen, I had the chance to speak to Candace Cameron Bure, who plays a role in the film. And one of the things she said about the title of the film is she felt like you were the unsung hero in this story.
In some ways, I suppose. I was a little shocked when the boys actually wrote the song Unsung Hero, which they sang to me on Mother's Day a few years ago. And I was a little taken aback because I did not know that they'd even written such a song.
She cried. I cried.
She's been given a beautiful voice. It's a miracle.
She's a special one, son. Your family, they're not in the way. They are the way.
And those are the first 2 stories in this week's countdown. Now to our sit down with singer and songwriter Matthew West. The award-winning artist is not only writing and recording music, he's also a published author. And his latest book is a devotional. It's called My Story, Your Glory.
The story of me was a story of shame. Wrong turns written on every page.
Let's begin My Story, Your Glory, a book, if you will now. What inspired you to take it from music to book?
So throughout my career, I've developed the ability to tell a story 1 3-minute song at a time.
My story, your glory, my pain, your purpose.
More often than not, I'll get to the end of a song and I'll feel like I still got more to say about that topic.
One life, one mission, one reason why I'm living.
I wrote all these songs and still felt like I had more to unpack with that. And that's how the idea for this devotional book was born. It was kind of like, what if we took a 30-day journey, and in every chapter was another way of saying, God, invade this part of my story and show me your plan for my past, for my character, for my relationships with my friends, for my finances, for the way I spend my time, like every aspect. I think about the Psalms where David said, Lord, search me and know me. And so I wanted to write a book that was like a daily prayer, like saying, Lord, search this part of my life. Show me how you want it to give you glory.
When you've cried and you've cried till your tears run dry, the answer won't come and you don't know why, and you wonder if you can bow your head even one more time. Don't stop praying.
Are you intentionally highlighting the less than perfect parts of us?
Oh, you better believe it. Because I think that's, too often the times or the parts of our stories that the enemy does his best work in making us believe that it can't be redeemed or it can't be used by God.
A single word you're saying, so don't stop praying.
I don't know what to do with these broken chapters of my story. I'm learning at running to the Father and placing those chapters in His hands and saying, is there anything you can make good out of this? And man, an amazing thing that happens when you take those broken parts of your story, place them in the hands of a healer, and he shows you that truly nothing is wasted.
Now, you've written the devotional. Have you gone through it as well?
Yeah. And you know what's kind of neat is I saw my wife the other day in her quiet time. She was reading through the devotional herself. So it's being tried and tested in the West House, you know? And I would say that's a great question, because I wrote the book in the way that I like to read devotional books. And I never want a book to take over the most important book, which is God's Word.
Yes.
And so I wrote this book in a way that could come alongside your personal quiet time. And man, the pages are filled with scriptures, where if you're on a flight or something, don't have your Bible, you can read these Bible verses. And then there's some blank pages where you can write your story. After all, it's called My Story, Your Glory. So it's an opportunity for you to think about your story, to write it down, and then maybe return to it in moments when you need to be reminded of something that God showed you, or how faithful he's been throughout the story of your life.
Take me back to the music that inspired this, that album, which I believe was #1.
Let's just say it was.
What do you recall what sparked that project?
Yes, there was a time during, I don't even like to say this word anymore, pandemic. But there was a time when the whole world was shut down. We all remember this. And I wound up starting a podcast. And I gave it a genius name, the Matthew West Podcast. And I found myself at the end of every episode, I would sign off saying, hey, go make the most of the one shot you get with this life. And remember, it's your story for his glory. I'll see you next week. And I don't know why I started saying that, but every week I started saying that. It's your story for his glory. And I began to think about that. What does that look like to make that a mission statement? And so I wound up writing that song, and then this whole album unfolded from there. And there was something so beautiful about that reminder that God is mindful of us, which then tells us that he cares about us, which means he's involved in the finite details of our stories. And that's, I think, what sparked me to write that book, to tell somebody, hey, your story matters, and your story's not over yet. Let the author of your story do his work, and a new chapter is going to begin.
My story, your glory.
My Story, Your Glory is available now wherever you purchase your reading material. Still ahead.
I'll give you more than this.
The incredible voice of CeCe Winans going viral, and let's talk about the new music, the More Than This project.
Yes.
That releases at #1.
That's an awesome feeling. I'm humbled by it. I'm excited.
We have more on More Than This when Studio 5 returns. At #3. A preview and a behind-the-scenes look at a history-making film. Jesus, a Deaf Mission, gives deaf audiences the rare chance to experience the story of Jesus in a feature film entirely in American Sign Language. It's in select theaters starting June 20th. I was reading that potentially the deaf community, only 2 to 4% possibly believe or are Christians. Why do you think that is, and did that strike you as odd?
Yeah, so that number, that 2 to 4% is really the best guess number, best estimate. It's kind of a number that's hard to measure, but the point of it is, I think that we can derive from it is that many deaf people don't have access. Most deaf people are born to hearing parents who don't know sign language. So they grow up often in a world, so to speak, where they're not getting information.
At #2.
God, I just need to know that you're with me, that you're hearing my voice.
I hear you, Regina, and I'm right here with you.
It's a new series for actor Harry Lennox. The famed Blacklist series actor now plays God in the Great American Pure Flix original, Destination Heaven.
How can I be sure that you're watching out for me?
Do people see how much faith you actually have?
How do you prepare to play God?
the $1 million question, right? Well,
You know, there have been many people who've taken that job under their aegis over the years. One of my favorite, of course, is Morgan Freeman. He's a friend. Yeah, so I just look at, I just kind of try to imagine what it's like to be the kind of God that you would like to meet.
Whatever happens, the life you live will be worth it.
With that, there is just one more story to share in this week's Top 5 Countdown that's coming up in just a few moments. We turn now to CeCe Winans, and she continues to break records. She's earned 15 Grammy Awards. Her new album shot to #1 on the charts as soon as she released it. And video of her recent performance on American Idol has gone viral. It's hard to believe she was eyeing retirement just 3 short years ago.
Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
High praise and headlines. People are still talking about this now viral CeCe Winans performance on American Idol of her hit Goodness of God on the heels of her sold-out Goodness Tour.
We just finished our first night in Shreveport. Thank you so much. It was so powerful. We are in Houston, Texas tonight, and it is all powerful. We're in Miami tonight, and Miami is on fire. That's all I can say. Tonight is our last night of the Goodness Tour, and it has been amazing.
Just wrapped the Goodness Tour. How does it feel? Are you breathing a sigh of relief? How does it feel?
It feels great. It feels great. We had a wonderful tour, 24 cities. Before we started, I got on social media and said, I need everybody to pray for me. And they did. Mm-hmm. But it was so powerful. Every night was just spectacular to me, really, every night.
After the tour came her annual women's conference, Generations Live. And now the busy best-selling recording artist has new music.
Wish I could describe it, but I can contain it, can't keep it to myself.
Let's talk about the new music, the More Than This project that's been out for a week or two.
Yes, the one you stayed up for.
The one I stayed up for its release. Releases at #1.
Oh my goodness. They told me, I heard.
I'll give you more than this.
That's an awesome feeling. I'm humbled by it. I'm excited. I feel like we've created something that people are going to embrace. And it's more than entertainment, but it's something that will minister to the hearts of the people. When you listen to this record, to me, the highlights is when that audience is singing.
Yeah.
I just felt like I had, this has to be the closest thing to heaven. These voices.
I have to run something by you just because I could not believe it listening to it, but Believe For It garnered more than 500 million U.S. streams in 2023. And your entire catalog over 2 billion impressions on YouTube alone.
Wow. I didn't know that. Wow. That has been an amazing thing. When we recorded Believe For It, we prayed, and we always pray, but during the pandemic, it was such a desperation of needing God's anointing to rest on that project, for His Spirit to rest on that project, so that when people heard it, a lot of people were in isolation, a lot of people couldn't go to church, a lot of people were fighting for their lives, literally, losing loved ones. And so that was just our cry to God. And we recorded this record, More Than This, and when we were on the phone with the team, they were telling me that Believe For It was still getting its best numbers since it's been out, and it's been 3 years, over 3 years.
Yes.
I was like, to God be the glory, I'm amazed, and He continues to amaze us, and I love it when God does things that nobody can take credit for. We've all worked as a team, the record label management, myself, the the band, singers, we've all worked hard to make things happen. And to come up with this offering to give to God. Yeah. But then when he touches it, he does it in such a way that it's like, we had nothing to do with it. And so that's what Believe For It is doing.
I want to have some fun before I let you go.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken and Wikipedia is correct, this is a milestone year for you and a birthday?
Wikipedia is so right. It is so on point. This year, 60 years old. Yes, I'm so excited.
Big plans?
You know what? Big plans to me right now is looking like me sitting in front of an ocean on the beach, chilling out with my husband. So I haven't made any plans yet. It's October the 8th. Mm-hmm. But 60, I can't believe it, but it's here.
That's
and I'm excited about it, yeah. This year, my husband and I, we will be married 40 years. Yes, 40 years, and I still like the guy. You know, he's still my number one guy. And I'll be turning 60 years old. I have 3 grandbabies, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
'Cause all my life you have been faithful.
More Than This is available right now wherever you purchase, download, or stream your music. We need to take a quick break, but as we do, it's time to share this week's story and pictures. Here's your Studio 5 snapshot for the week. With Father's Day in sight this Sunday, it's images of fathers, famous and not so famous, and father moments that take center stage. In the words of poet Edgar Albert Guest, only a dad with a tired face, coming home from the daily race, bringing little of gold or fame to show how well he's played the game, but glad in his heart that his own rejoice to see him come home and to hear his voice. Only a dad with a brood of 4, one of 10 million or more, plodding along in the daily strife, bearing the whips and the scorns of life, with never a whimper of pain or hate, for the sake of those at home who await. It's Father's Day, and dads are this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Ahead, we're on the red carpet with some of the biggest names in Christian entertainment.
Worship's always needed. We need to always be singing the song of heaven.
At the 2024 K-Love Fan Awards. At number 1.
We done did stadiums. We did the World Game with 60,000 people. We done did all that.
Backstage and behind the scenes.
Can I put a bounce in my step? I need y'all to bounce with me. Let's go!
With gospel artist Pastor Mike Jr. on the I Gotta Wait tour. So we've known you for the last few years, but you've been doing this a whole lot longer as far as recording.
You know, that's the crazy part. People believe, everybody keeps saying, where does he come from? Mm-hmm. So in 2009, I started Rock City Church in Birmingham, Alabama. My pastor spoke a word to me that I believe was God. He said, love God, love your family, love your city. And in 10 years, the world will come looking for you. So at 25, it's 10 of us. At 26, our church grows to about 1,500 people. At 27, it's 7,000 or 8,000 people in the arena, and God just kept growing it. In 2019, I'm in church, and I just randomly say, and it's gonna be big. It goes viral, and now you know about me.
Wow.
God is a big guy. God is a big guy.
And that is a wrap for this week's Top 5 Countdown. Welcome back to Studio 5. Every year, the K-Love Fan Awards brings together the biggest names in Christian entertainment. We hit the red carpet to talk to some of those in attendance.
It's wild. And why I say that is like, if you go back 20 years to where I gave my life to Jesus, I was a meth addict, and you'd have told me 20 years from now, you'll be walking a red carpet, which is what, you know what I mean? You'll be doing all these things, and you'll be pointing people to me through your story. I would have been like, there's no way.
I am excited to sit and just bask in all the Lord's doing through Christian music this year. I'm just blown away by all the music, man.
There's so much pressure on so many different artists and so many people to sustain charts and do this, do that. And the truth of the matter is humility is the thing that is so rewarding.
Worship's always needed. We need to always be singing the song of heaven and always be giving glory up to God and understanding just our place in the midst of everything that's going on in our world, we need to just turn our focus off of what's happening in my life right now and give my attention to God. So, I mean, it's always neat.
You know, before I entered music, to do my own music, there were a lot of years that I wasn't sure how God was going to work it out. I didn't understand why I was taking this path or going in this direction, or how he was going to work it all together for his good. And then, you know, hindsight's 2020. Looking back, he was weaving that beautifully. I get to see fruit of what he's doing every single day, and there's no mistake that he's using it to connect people to him. So that's the whole point, and that's why we're here tonight.
The Lord has put a real fire in my heart to absolutely love creating songs that light people's hearts up for Jesus, and specifically our new prayers that we can sing together.
The Spirit of God, the presence of God is the one that changes things, not us.
This is our 5th year of being signed artists, so we're still new. But when I look down the red carpet, or I look out at people whose first fan awards, or my heart just beats for people. I want them to know, like, you belong.
Just looking back, I'm like, man, God writes the best stories.
The K-Love Fan Awards is the only Christian award show where the fans vote for the winners. Welcome back to Studio 5. Music helps us to bring you this show each and every week, and this week's soundtrack comes from a rising new artist, Michaela. Take a listen, and you'll hear why Working, that's W-E-R-K-I-N-G, is what's playing in my ear this week.
You keep stressing, palms start sweating, or simply forget to breathe. But if you find it in his word, then it's gonna work. If you can't keep your faith up, and heaven showing me what it's made of, yeah. My angel's putting work for me. My angel's putting work for me.
My angels put in work for me. On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's edition of Studio 5. So let's take a quick look at what we have in store on next week's Rundown.
Are you? I am.
We've introduced the new series Destination Heaven, starring veteran actor Harry Lennox. He plays God. How do you prepare to play God?
You know, there have been many people who've taken that job under their aegis over the years. One of my favorite, of course, is Morgan Freeman. He's a friend. Yeah, so I just look at, you know, I just kind of try to imagine what it's like to be the kind of God that you would like to meet. And so, I borrowed a little bit from his book.
Lennox has lots more to share about this heavenly project and why it's one of his favorite roles. Hey, be sure and join us for that story and so much more come next week. As for this week, we've got just a few moments left in our show, and we're going to give that time to Matthew West. He's got the final word.
18 summers gone like that. 18 years you don't get back. 18 trips around the sun. Don't it make you wonder?
18 summers? What happened?
Well, it's a season of my life right now where a grown man is crying quite often. And it's because my oldest daughter is getting ready to graduate from high school. Yeah. And I kind of find myself going, where has the time gone? And so it's bittersweet season. My wife and I, just this morning, she was showing me a video of when our oldest daughter was 5 years old, and she was singing, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. And it just, for some reason, it hit differently. And we're both sitting in the kitchen this morning crying because like we're about to watch our daughter graduate from high school. So, you know, I'm always trying to write songs that capture the chapters that I'm going through. And that song, 18 Summers, is a page straight out of this right now chapter for me and our family, of just going, oh, thank you, Lord, for the gift of raising this beautiful, incredible little girl to the young woman who she's become. And then also just selfishly going, kind of wish I could go back and do it again, you know.
18 summers.
Matthew West, thank you. That's a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and for this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.